Hello, everyone. My name is Paola. Welcome to Mindalia TV livestream, where people from all over the world watch us daily for the interviews and talks organized by MindaliaTV.com. In this occasion, we are very happy to have Keon Brooks with us. He is bringing a talk titled The Powerful Impact of Music. Keon is a music enthusiast, entrepreneur, and owner of the 501c3 nonprofit Power of Positive Music movement. His goal is to bring a positive change to the music industry through education, awareness, and opportunities for upcoming artists and especially the youth. But right before we welcome our guest, I would like to remind you all that if you would like to help the world through Mindalia, there are a few things that you can do that can make a big, big difference in the lives of many, many people like you. One of them is to subscribe to our channel, Mindalia TV, and give us a like or leave a positive comment down below this video. Please know that with these actions, you're helping us reach even more people around the world who can benefit from the content that we share in our channel. Also, to allow your interaction, please remember there's a chat on the side of your screen. You can use it to ask all the questions that you would like to our guest, who will kindly answer them by the end of his talk. It is time now to welcome our guest, Keon Brooks. Thank you so much for being with us today, Keon.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about today.
Thank you so much. We're ready to listen to your talk, so the screen is yours.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me. And I want to call you all my family, because we're all a family of music lovers, and we all listen to music, and it's all a part of all of our lives. The first thing I want to talk about before we start talking about the powerful impact of music, what is music? The definition of music is the vocal or instrumental sounds, or both, combined in such a way as to produce a beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. That's powerful. The second definition would be the written or printed signs representing vocal or instrument sounds. Now that we know what music is, let's talk about the history of music and where music has been a part of our past, and then we'll bring it all the way up to the present of what music is today, and how we've learned so much more about it and how we use it to enhance people's lives, and also the negative side of it. So before I really dig into it, I want to tell you all I'm going to do what's called, or my friend Ms. Jones would say, the lasagna method. So you know how lasagna has layers to it, and you have the good, bad, good, bad. That's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to layer it like this, so that we're not focused on one thing too long, but so that everybody can get a full understanding of how powerful music is and how you are able to use it to enhance your lives, or you can use it to be a negative thing, and that's what we don't want. So with the educational piece of it, people will know how to use music and to enhance their lives, and that's what my goal is by the end of this. So let's talk about the history of music. According to studies, scientists have yet to find a society that didn't have music as a part of their past. That is astonishing. There's not one single culture that they've been able to find that didn't have music throughout humanity. Some even suggest that it predated language. And let me tell you why I would believe that is so true. When you think about a song, the rhythm and all that, we can easily remember that after we get through listening to it. We can easily pick up lyrics from a song just like that if we've heard it a few times. So I would believe that music has predated language. I would believe that. And then since we're in America, one of what they would call the founding fathers of America was Thomas Jefferson. Most people don't know he was an avid violinist. And Mr. Jefferson, as he was drafting the Declaration of Independence, he would lose his wording sometimes. And so you know what he would do? He would take a break and go play his violin. And later on in this talk, you're going to understand why that was so important and how that helped him to be able to find his words that he wanted to implement. And it helped so much with his cognitive skills. So another thing that you all would remember would be if you think about, if you watch even the National Geographic channel and you see the different cultures and they have rituals and they're doing their dances and stuff like that, we've always had that a part of every civilization as a way of enlightening, spiritual awakening, things like that. So that's another way that if you think about music, if you haven't been studying it, that's always been a part of society. And then, like I said, we do lasagna method. I'm going to talk about something a little harsh, but Hitler. We all know Adolf Hitler. He even controlled the minds of his soldiers by music. He spread negative propaganda by music. That's powerful. He was able to do what he did and all the evil that he did through the power of music. So later on, when I'm discussing these different ways that music can be negative or positive, I want you all to really grasp what I'm saying, because this is someone in history that we all know about that was able to do great evil with music. And if you think about, even with the United States, since we were talking about that, in the past, we had things like the Negro spirituals, and when the slaves were out in the field, they would make up their songs or they would sing and hum and all that. And then you say, why are they doing that? It seems like they're enjoying. No, but did you know that music was actually helping them? And later on, we're going to touch on that. One of my favorite examples of where music has been such a profound part of someone's life was with Mr. Albert Einstein. You know, when Mr. Albert Einstein was young, he was in school and they actually told his parents that, you know what, he should probably start doing manual labor because he's not smart and he's not doing well, he's not performing well in school. But lo and behold, his mother did not hold on to that. She didn't take those words in. She went and bought him a violin as well. And he learned violin skill. He learned to be a violinist. And he was an avid one, actually. And learning that taught him work ethic. And it also enhanced his cognitive skills as well. And now we all know who Albert Einstein is, the genius, Mr. Albert Einstein. And another example would be religious buildings, or let's say church or something of that matter. All of these are examples of where music has been used, and we all have been affected by it in some way or the other, or even the political movements. Now that we've discussed the history of music, where is music? It's everywhere. Think about it. On our commercials, and I always give this example. When you're watching a commercial, especially recently, because we've had so many elections here in the United States, you would watch a commercial and when there's the opponent, they would have all this jarring, hard music and all of the type of distracted music that we know, if you studied music, would not be of any appealing. It would not be appealing to your ear. So they would do that to have you, to evoke that emotion for you so that you wouldn't vote for that person, to make you feel a certain way towards that opponent. Now, when it comes to the person that they want you to vote for, then the music gets soft and it gets loving and it's like a jazzy sound. Yeah, that's all a part of music. Even movies, they use it when it's a part of a set to set the tone for a scene. That's all of this is encompassed in music. And even with the phones, you know, everybody's walking around with their phones and you see the Apple now, the little buzz in their ears, they're listening to music. Music is such a part of all of our lives, even when waking up to working out, but to enhance our workouts. And then another part of music that you probably don't even think about, when you step on an elevator, you more than likely going to hear elevator music. And the reason that even come to be is because back in the day, I would say the early 1900s, people had a great fear of elevators, and there were a lot of accidents and things of that nature with elevators. So they implemented music to the elevators so that people would be calm. People wouldn't even think about, you know, the anxiety would fall immediately. And that's the powerful impact of music. So now that we see that music is a significant part of our lives, I'm building towards how we're implementing music with our children and our families. We know music is everywhere. We know the history of how music has been used for good and bad. Now let's move into modern day times and our children and our youth. And I like to call them our babies because they truly are the future. And we need to be very vigilant about what we allow them to listen to. When children are young, we all know we what are the first things we do to children? We sing them lullabies. And then as they begin to grow, so we kind of condition them to be used to music at that point. And then as they grow, we start maybe not doing music as much, but we also teach them their ABCs with music. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And, so it's a rhythm, and children grasp onto it just like that. So we've conditioned children to like music from a young age. But as they tend to get older, we tend to watch them less or let them listen to music unsupervised. And that becomes a problem because we have music that's in video games. You have music, depending on what channel you're watching, you have music there. Social media, that's been a huge part of it. So we all have to really, really, I would say to parents to be more vigilant and watch your children when it comes to the music that they're listening to, because a reminder, we've already conditioned them to like music. And a great friend of mine told me this, who's an attorney. He said, what's sad in modern times is that we're programming the children by the music that they're listening to, especially the negative songs that are of the pop culture. We're programming them to be negative. And that's sad because the children wouldn't, when it comes to something positive happen, they probably wouldn't even know how to respond to it because their mind now is conditioned to negativity. And that is a huge problem. That scares me because I personally didn't grow up like that growing up in Mississippi. And then another part is if you want to have bonding time with your children, put down the cell phones. Let's play some good music and let's dance together. Let's make some memories. I even remember that when I was growing up, for family reunions, I know a lot of people would know what I'm talking about, is we would go out in the yard and it wasn't on cell phones. We were having a good time. We were enjoying each other's companies. Make each other's company. Make sure that you're making memories with your children. They're going to be growing up. Yes, that cell phones can be an easy way to get them to distract them, but what are they paying attention to at that point? And it probably isn't what you're used to because this internet world has opened up doors for a whole bunch of things that even the younger people, and I'm only 27, I was born in 90, so cell phones weren't that prevalent then, we're not even used to. But that internet opens up a whole another door, and you want to know what your children are getting involved in, and you definitely want to control the music. And later on, you'll see why. It also, if you listen to the right type of music with your children, especially spiritual or jazzy type music, that will open up a door for empathy. That moment, those jazzy sounds, that love song, that spiritual song, that's a bonding moment for you and your child. You're experiencing the same emotion by listening to the same song because it's going to evoke the same emotion depending on what type of song it is. So that is a great bonding moment. And put down the cell phones and you just listen or dance, but make memories with your children. This is very, very important. And not only that, but if you see that your child is into music or would like to learn to play a certain instrument, please, please encourage that, because when they are practicing and they're building a work ethic, it also helps them with coordination. So all of these skills come from music, and they allow you to be able to help enhance the lives of your children, and that's very important. Now let's think of some of the positive. Now I'm going to go dig into some of the positive and negative effects of music. And I want you all to really, really pay attention to what I'm saying here, because music will have therapeutic effects and it could have damaging effects. And right first, like I told you, I like the lasagna method. We're going to go into the positive side of it. So the therapy, some of the therapeutic sides of music is some patients that have heart rhythms that are out of rhythm, heartbeats that are out of rhythm. Music has been shown to help put their heart rhythm back in place, along with certain medicine sometimes, or just the right type of music because it calms you. It has effects that are way more than what the average person would probably even think of. Calm Another side of it would be blood pressure and hypertension. Music can so help you with blood pressure. If you listen to the right type of music, it first of all, when you're stressed, when you listen to music, it releases cortisol. And when your cortisol levels are higher, then you're going to be more stressed. But what music has been shown to do is to lower levels of cortisol it releases, um, it allows your cortisol level it makes your cortisol level go down, is basically what I'm trying to say. And also with depression, when you listen to the right type of music, dopamine is released. So it helps you with depression, and also serotonin, which is much like endorphins. It has the same effect as endorphins, but it helps music, if you listen to the right type, will release the hormone, that serotonin, that is able to help you feel better. It's like almost like a happy pill. It's a happy hormone. And then we was talking about earlier, when children are, or when people in general are working out and that they listen to music, did you know that the music takes your mind off of what you're doing? And then you can work out harder and longer and not think about the workout. So that way your body is concentrating not on, oh Lord, I got 5 minutes left, I gotta keep going. No, you're grooving with the music. That's what it does. So it helps you even in working out. That's a positive attribute of music. When you're having pain and anxiety, music has been shown with patients with fibromyalgia. Um, it helps them when you listen to the right type of music. And I keep having emphasis on that, because there is a right type and a wrong type. When you have fibromyalgia, it reduces the pain. It's been shown in studies scientifically to reduce the pain in those type of patients. And then also with anxiety, we were talking about endorphins. Music can release endorphins, or it have your body release the endorphins. And then with children or with adults, anybody, learning to play music. Again, this is helping you with your work ethic and your coordination. And then, because anybody that plays an instrument, you didn't learn that overnight. So as you work towards that goal of, oh, I'm going to perfect this, that helps you. You're building a work ethic for life. And you know that nothing comes quick. You got to work hard for it. And this is excellence for our children. Even personally, me, when I'm going to sleep, I cut on music. I play me some jazz, something somber, something soft, so that it wouldn't be so jarring that it distract me, but it'll put me to ease, soothe me. And then one of the most amazing things about music that just blows me away. And I'm going to tell you all a little bit something about myself. A few years ago, I actually moved to California from Mississippi. And I had always been a huge fan of Whitney Houston. And I mean, every single day. And her music was all about love, love good, love going bad, love indifferent, but it was all about love. And so that's what I was accustomed to. Even with my life, I grew up in a very loving family. But when I moved to California, the music changed. And I was like, I started finding myself reacting different to things, or like, oh man, I'm getting mad quicker, or I'm looking at life a little different. So the music even affected me. And I got very depressed, and I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. And when that happened, I mean, I just went through, it was a very challenging time for me, but I ended up getting music therapy. Guys, let me tell you, music therapy is so amazing. What they normally do when you're working with a music therapist, and sometimes you can look on YouTube and find some videos about this, but what they try to do is they try to meet you where you are. So if you're depressed, they'll play a song like that and they'll meet you where you are, and then they'll switch it up. And then as you start, you know, feeling better or start talking about your experiences, they switch the music and go to something lighter and jolly, maybe some reggae music or something like that to get you groove and get your body, accustomed to something different. And if you watch how music therapists are able to sit with people with dementia, and when they're playing the music, because again, remember I said earlier, when you're used to hearing something, um, music. Well, first of all, music is so easy for you to grasp onto. So when you hear it again, even if it's been years, you'll be like, "Oh, I remember that song. I remember the lyrics that come back to you like that." I have been watching studies of when music therapists have been sitting with patients with dementia, and it is like a cognitive awakening, because they'll start playing a song, and then the patient will start, they'll remember the song, of course it's a popular song, and they'll start singing that song. So it's awakening the mind, and that's what music has been doing. And then also with children with autism, oh my, you ought to watch the studies. The children get in such a rhythm where they would just be sporadic or something like that. Any other time, they get in a rhythm with the music. And sometimes will even, if you have them participate in it, they'll come in right on beat. I mean, it's just amazing the positive effects of music. So anybody that's in a state of depression, I challenge you to go and listen to some good uplifting music, or seek help first of all. But go listen to, or find a music therapist or something. These are some great modern day skills that we can take advantage of. And also, when you're studying for our children, I know if you listen to the wrong type of music, you're distracted, like you can't even pay attention to this. But if you listen to some soft, and this they call it the Mozart effect, some classical music while you're studying, it opens up your cognitive skills, or it pushes them to the max. So play some soft music, or even some Mozart. They call it the Mozart effect. And all of that in combination to you studying, will allow your brain to remember it. It just opens up your cognitive skills all the way. It pushes them to the max. And also another thing that I've experienced, like I told you all, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. Another thing that I was able to experience with a music therapist was you can sing out your emotions. You can let it out. You can let it go. Whereas you wouldn't be able to verbalize it, you can now let it out. Music sometimes can be a mirror for us. You can hear a certain thing and you can so relate to it, and you could just imagine your own life and what they're talking about because it's so relatable. So when it comes to music therapists and depression, I am an advocate for that because music has been able to do things that medicine couldn't. I, for one, wasn't able to take the medicine because I had adverse effects to it. So I just do music therapy. Even now in my low moments, music therapy. It is the most therapeutic thing about music. So I would challenge anybody to listen to some good music when you're low. Now we got to talk about the negative side of music. Music seems to nowadays in pop culture, music seems to want to glorify sex. And what are we experiencing right now? We're hearing a lot about is the Me Too movement. Okay, music is glorifying, demeaning women and doing what you want to do and all this type of stuff. Yeah, you will end up in jail for that. They're not telling you about that if you do the wrong thing, if it's not consensual. Or, for instance, the children, you're not thinking about that. I mean, not the children, but the younger folks, you're probably not thinking about, okay, well, I'm out here having fun doing what the song says, but now you have a baby on the way. That changes your life forever. Or another thing would be the diseases that people aren't talking about that you get from having sex. Incurable things. These are things that parents need to discuss with their children, and also because it's always important to have the educational side. I was blessed to be a son of an educator. My mother was a teacher. And so that side of things, once you understand it, then you will say, oh, well, hold on, I don't want to hurt myself. So that's why I'm telling you the negative sides of it. So hopefully you will see that, oh, okay, I want to go this route, because if I go the other route, I could be damaging myself. And that's what we don't want. We don't want you to be self-destructive. Another thing that music pushes is drugs and alcohol, but they're not talking about the other side of that. When you're hooked on drugs or you're spazzing out and it's damaging your family relationships, they're not telling you about that. So you have to be smarter and say, yeah, I understand that people do this, but that's not something that I want to do with my life, because there are damaging effects where you can end up in jail, And another thing would be the disrespect thing or the violence. It seems to push violence. These children, as far as I hear people say this all the time, don't talk to me like that. Or now I'm not saying disrespect people. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that the music can have your brain so trained to where you would be looking for negative things. And then when someone does disrespect you, or if you feel that you're disrespected, you will react in the way that they tell you to react. And that is you don't let nobody disrespect you. You do what you have to do. No, that you will end up in jail. They're not telling you that, so you really want to pay attention to it. And then another thing that I really don't like about some of the messages in music is, that you are alone. We are here with almost 8 billion people. You're not here by yourself. There are great, loving people out there that would embrace you, would put themselves aside for you, because that's just who they are. But you have to surround yourself with those type of people and not think that, because Mr. Ricky Phillips, he's a part of Styx now. He's one of our supporters, and he said, if you wallow alone, you remain lonely. So if you're always alone, or you're listening to that type of music and you're thinking that you're always alone, yeah, you probably will see things that way, that you're just a lonely person. And then that pushes you to the depression. And even with drinking that we mentioned earlier, nobody tells you that drinking can be a part of leading you to depression. So it's very important that you are vigilant as parents to your children's music and what you're listening to with your children, because something that you may listen to in your quiet times with your partner or so on, then that may be one thing. But when these babies, for them to have messages and music that they would never even understand at such a young age, it's just not right. And so I'm pleading, and that's what I'm doing as a part of Power of Positive Music Movement. We're pleading with society and artists, because they've always been a catalyst for change, to make music with messages that would stand out in a positive way, and not anything that's going to turn people that don't even know anything about it, about what you're talking about, to turn them towards negativity. That's what you do not want. And I think it's important that when I'm talking about this negative side of things, I don't want any artist to feel like we're attacking them, because they may not have been taught the right way. But once you have the education and once you know what you're supposed to, or the power that you possess, then I believe that you would do the right thing. So that's the educational side of it is very important. You've already got the platform. Now let's use it for good. You had songs like "We Are the World" that was able to bring a global awareness to the AIDS HIV virus. I know Michael Jackson is a part of this one too, but "Man in the Mirror" that was written by Miss Ciara Garrett. Yeah, Ciara Garrett. Um, and Man in the Mirror had everybody looking at themselves like, oh, shoot, that's true. I need to start with me. I'm expecting so much from everybody else. Let me start here with myself. So all of these things, I hope, are helping you understand that music is so much more than just a pastime. Music can affect you mentally, emotionally, and even physically. Now, I'm going to tell you another good thing about music. Music can help increase your immune system. We all have an immune system. Listening to the right type of music could definitely boost your immune system. And we all know stress will bring you down. So everything that I'm saying is falling right in line, because when you're very stressed out, you're not the healthiest. But then if you listen to the right type of music that's helping alleviate a lot of that stress, then it helps you. So that's the most important aspects of music, which is what music is, the history of music, and then how we're using music in our family, with our children. Even if you don't have children, just the people in your household, you can be influencing them a certain type of way. So take heed to all this, and then the negative and positive sides of music. And that's basically my talk. I appreciate you all for joining me.
Thank you so much, Kian. We appreciate all the information that you've shared live with us. Just a quick reminder to y'all, Mindalia is a nonprofit organization, and our main goals are to help spread human knowledge and to promote planetary solidarity by all means. An important way to collaborate with Mindalia is to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mindalia TV, since by doing so, YouTube shares these videos with more people around the world. Now it is time to pass on to our guest the questions from our audience. Kian, thank you so much again for all the information. We're super excited to have you here. I'm going to have you on camera while I read the questions to you. Okay. Let's see. The first question we have says, why is most of rap and hip hop music so addictive?
Well, it's the repetitiveness of it. When you hear something so much and you become accustomed to it. Remember, I was talking about being programmed. We program children to like music from a young age. When you're so programmed to it, and then not only that, but that it's a quick market for money. I mean, sex sells, we know that, but there's a responsible way to do it. And the reason that it's so popular is because what does a lot of it, not all of it, because I don't want to offend anybody, but what a lot of it does do is glorify things that we know are not right. So it becomes repetitive, and it becomes addicting because that's what you're used to, and that's what's being played the most. That's what's being pushed out there. It's being pushed into your brain. So you will become accustomed to it if you're not educated to know, oh, I shouldn't even be listening to that because I don't want to be programmed in that direction.
Great. Thank you, Kian. Let's see. We have another question. This one comes from Texas. It says, this might be out of your scope, but I'm a big fan of Kanye West. A few months ago, he started a talk about higher powers interfering in his music career. Would you be related somehow to people trying to force him to do something wrong with his music?
Oh, yeah, that is out of my scope. But I will say mental illness is real. And a lot of people do not take the time to go or get proper help and especially when you have money. Kanye West has been through some stuff, and we know he lost his mother and all that. None of this is making an excuse for the stuff that he does. But mental illness is real. That's all I'll say. And I think he's been open enough about his own mental illness. So I can't speak for Kanye West.
Right. Let's go to the next question.
Mhm.
What needs to happen so that your movement is fully embraced by the music industry, in your opinion?
The music heads, the people that pay the artists, there are people that run this industry. And I'm glad that question was asked, because what a lot of stuff that you're seeing pushed out there, you do know that that's a creation of a company and all of that is being paid for. So what we would need is for the heads of those companies to say, okay, let's not, which is going to be hard to do because it's all about money, but let's not solely focus on the money, and let's look at how we can enhance people's lives. And it's going to also be a part of the artist, but the heads of the artist, the heads of the industry, or the head of the company, they would have to be on the same page of, yes, it may be a change where the finances may not be the same, but the impact that we're having is greater than the loss of finances, because you will have to reprogram those people that are so used to what they would say, the hard stuff, to now be open to positive music and stuff like that. So to help us, it would take the heads of the industry and artists to be advocates for a positive change.
Awesome. We'll go with the next question now. It says, I would like to support your movement, Keon. How can I do it?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to powerofpositivemusicmovement.org. And you can sign up. We do newsletters, blog talks about different types of effects of music, different things that we're working on. And you can also support us. We are a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, so any donation that you make towards the organization will be tax deductible as applicable by law. And you can also reach out to us if you see a way that we can work together. We're open. No, I can't do this by myself. My team, we're only a certain amount of people. We need more advocates out there, and people doing it in their homes, people doing it in their communities, in their churches, or whatever their surroundings may be, to spread the message, and also direct them to some of our blogs, because we talk about some of the stuff that I just talked about today. And yeah, that would be the best way. But I appreciate you being even inquiring about that.
Great, thank you, Kian. The next question says, are there any of the rhythms that are better to improve the well-being of the human being?
Yes. Remember I was talking about the Mozart effect? Classical music. That is the best music to listen to. Classical, jazz, and reggae. Those are the best music to listen to. So whenever you find yourself in a low moment, you might want to listen to some good old reggae music. It get you swaying and moving and all that other type of good stuff.
Thank you, Kian. On the other hand, what would you consider, what rhythms would you consider negative for the well-being?
Okay, jarring, hard, confused, not following a particular pattern, disorganization, that distracts your brain. So you don't want to listen to anything like that. Or music that is saying something negative, because if you listen to it enough, it is a scientific fact. What you hear the most will become your perception and or your reality. So you want to make sure your perception and that you're heading in a positive lane, not down a negative road, because that could be very detrimental to you.
Great. Let's move on to the next question. It says, besides subliminal messages, is there any other way to control minds using music?
Yeah, well, we just talked about that, like the music that distracts you. So the harder music, or music that isn't really organized properly or played in a different key. Now, I'm not a music therapist, but there is certain keys that you play music in that would enhance your mood. All music can evoke an emotion. Now, when we were talking about the definition of music earlier, remember we said it was the vocal or instrumental sounds. So it can just be the instruments. You don't have to have a message at all. You don't have to say anything. But if it's not played properly, you will be impacted.
Correct. Okay, let's see. Another of our viewers is asking, I saw a big list with big names on your website as supporters, Keenan. How do they support your movement?
Well, I've been in the industry for a while, and then I am not a shy person. Well, on camera, I'm more shy, but behind the scenes, behind a computer, I am not scared to ask or to spread the message. And I felt so strongly. I felt this was the divine message that come to me. I was in a state of prayer when Power Positive Music Movement even come up. So that lets me know that this is something beyond just me. You know, I never even thought that I would even own a nonprofit ever in my life. It wasn't something that I aimed to do. But when you find your purpose and when you know that you can have an impact on others, then that means more to me than anything else. So back to how those artists come on board was having people already that I have worked with in the industry. I guess that helped. And then I reached out to them and I just poured my heart out to them. And I told them what this movement was about. And I was so amazed at the reaction that I got. I mean, these people were so on board, and it was like, what more can we do? This is overdue. So it wasn't hard to entice those celebrities to join us. And, you know, Miss Denise Williams, she was the best. She's 4-time Grammy Award winner, multiple #1 hits. And she signed on just like that. And that means a lot, because that lets you know that you're heading in the right direction.
Great, thank you. Let's see the next question. How can I help you to add names to your list of supporters?
Just have them write us. Our email address and our telephone number is on the website. You can have them just contact us, and we're open to all type of artists that they're committed to. And I've been shocked at some of the messages that we get, because there's been artists reaching out saying, you know, I want to become a part of this, and I would like for my music to go down this lane. And they have signed up with the movement. If you go down the list of supporters, and so we're open. Just be committed to the message of positivity, and anybody's. This is a all people involved type organization. This isn't just one type of person. So just have them contact us, and I promise you we'll get back to them.
Great, thanks, Kian. Let's see, we have another question here. It says, talking about elementary school children music, how can we put safeguards to what they listen when they are by themselves?
That's going to be a parent thing. You know, they're now making apps to where you can only allow your children to go into children things, and you're going to have to do your research. And it's so important. I beg you to do your research and get those apps to where your children can only go to certain sites, where they can only do certain things. Nowadays, you know, everything's monitored. So you can even monitor your children on their cell phone. So you want to first of all, you do your research, and you tell them, you guide them to what type of music to listen to. And then you do your due diligence to ensure that they are only listening to that type of stuff. And that's by implementing the apps, whether that is, you know, sitting down, having one-on-one conversations with them, going through their phones. They're not grown, you know, do what you have to do, because it would be better for them to be, for you to get onto them about it than for them to be negatively affected by it. So you have to weigh those two out, and trust me, it's much better to just talk to them and block the stuff that you don't want them to see. You know, my cousin, I remember we used to go stay with her in Louisiana over summer, and if you weren't 13, you weren't watching a movie over PG-13. So you have to be in control. You're the parent.
Correct. Okay, we have a personal case here. It says, could you please tell me how to take my 17-year-old out of addictive music in some easy steps? He has his earplugs on all the time while awake. He would not do anything that I suggest him to do. I'm desperate.
And I would believe that because the music, music is telling them that they the ones in power. You your own God. You in control. But then we see the negative side of you see these what just happened. These 20-year-olds, famous rappers were gunned down. And so the way I would say it is educate them, have them know, send them to our website, have them read about the negative effects of music, because I'm telling you, I really believe mankind, none of us really just are born to be, or I don't believe that, or maybe that's just my heart towards humanity. I don't believe we are geared towards negative stuff. What happens is we become programmed to it, and then kids, they are going to follow what they feel is cool and what they feel is hot. But once they're educated and saying, wait, I want to be better than this. I don't want to be, held back by something that I'm listening to, because it's something that minor could hold them back. So my suggestion would be to educate them on why it's important and the reality of the music industry. A lot of these people that the children are watching, they're thinking, oh, they're balling, they're rich and all that. They're being controlled by a company. There's a reality to all of this. Everything that you see, when you see them looking glamorous and all that, that's paid for. And it's coming out of their money. So halftime, those artists aren't living in those huge houses you see on the music videos. That is rented and paid for by a company. And then they go back to maybe their 1-bedroom apartment, and you would see nothing, or you wouldn't hear anything about that, and you wouldn't see that. But that's the reality of this industry. Everything comes with a price. So yeah, if you're educated, I think that could change them. Unfortunately, it's been like a plague, the negative music, and it is what's popular, and it is what people are turning to in today's time. So that's what we're working towards, is that change. And once people are more educated, I just truly believe that once they're educated on what the music does to them, they wouldn't want to do that. They wouldn't want to participate in that type of music.
Thanks, Kian, for these information. Let's see. The next question says, is there any relationship between brain waves and mind well-being?
Say that one more time.
Is there any relationship between brain waves and mind well-being?
Oh, see, that's out of my scope. I have no idea what she even means by that.
No worries. Let's move on to the next one. Another person is saying, what other example of spirituality or divine intervention through music have you experienced along your career?
Oh, well, for me, it would be easy because I grew up in the church. And when a certain thing hits you, you be up shouting, hollering, crying. You lose the physical side, and you just all in the spiritual side. So I've definitely experienced that quite a bit, because I'm very in tune with my spiritual side. I have to be, to even be sane and do what I do, to be able to touch other people's lives, because I know that this is something greater than myself. So definitely when I was in church. And then when it was Whitney Houston, there's nobody that could perform a song, a gospel song, get so emotional about it than Whitney Houston to me. And I mean, she'll have you in tears singing to her God, our God, So those are two examples, in church and Whitney Houston. Awesome. I was a Whitney Houston fanatic. For real.
Great. Awesome. Let's see. The next question says, what do you think about people who feel like they lose themselves while listening to music? Do you think, also, what do you think about the so-called power of sound? Haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, well, basically what we've been talking about, I totally believe it takes over your brain. I mean, it's first of all, playing music and listening to music at the same time does something so unique to your brain. So it's one of the very few activities that you can do that to where they say use your left and right hemisphere of your brain. So that's when we say the whole brain, that's what we're really meaning, is that it interacts with both sides. So when you're listening to a certain type of music and or performing it, that's the effect of music. It's something that it takes on a spiritual realm, more so than just being something of a physical effect. Did I answer your question?
I believe so.
Okay.
We have reached now the last question of today's show, and it says, what advice would you give to people in today's society when it comes to listen almost automatically to radio stations while in traffic? I think it's...
Find a different radio station. Every car got an MP3 player or a CD player. Find different music. You do not have to listen to. I don't listen to the popular stations because I know what they're playing is not something that's going to uplift me, and it's going to have me feeling and totally different than the way that I believe. So my suggestion would be to find stations that you know are going to only play good, clean music, and also get records that you know are clean. Yeah, that's the way we're going to have to go about doing it right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Keon, for all the information that you have shared live with us. And thank you a lot for being with us, for sharing your enthusiasm and all this knowledge. Before we go, I would like to give you a few moments just so you can tell us how to find you and give us a little bit more of your information.
Okay. Well, you can look me up on Facebook. I am definitely on Facebook. Well, our company is on Facebook. I'm on Facebook too. My name is Keon Brooks. But the company page, and get our followers up. So go follow us on Facebook at Power of Positive Music Movement. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. And something I want you all to pay attention to, when you was asking about the music, I can't believe I didn't say this. You can always go on our timelines, and we have songs of the day. And all of those songs are geared towards a positive feeling. And to me, positive is just involving love and understanding the impact that you're having on others. So definitely you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Power Positive Music Movement on every last one of them. And our website, powerpositivemusicmovement.org. And a really exciting thing for us is that we're switching over our website, and that should be happening in a week. It's going to be a beautiful format. It's going to be more interactive for the young people. So we've already been working on this. It's almost done. I'm very excited about the things that I see. So we'll have a new website. You can always direct your children to that. And then another cool thing is when you have popular people, and this is why I'm continuing to reach out to artists. But when you have popular artists supporting something, that would help encourage some of these young people or people in general to become a part of something better. So yeah. That's what we're doing. We're trying to pull in some of the younger artists as well.
Thank you, Keon, so much. We appreciate you, and we're super, super excited about what's coming in the future for you and for your organization. Again, thank you for sharing all your knowledge, for your positive message, and to everyone who watched, thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to give us a like or leave a positive comment down below. And thank you all for your participation and for watching. We'll see you soon on the next live of Mindalia TV. See you all soon.
All right.